Namaskar. Welcome to Pariksha ki Tayyari, a program of Department of Education, Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Due to COVID-19 pandemic, the schools have been closed and classes were in the online mode, because of which the board, like last year, has reduced the syllabus, and this year also will be following that same syllabus. Keeping in view of this, the Department of Education, Andaman and Nicobar Islands has taken an initiative, Pariksha ki Tayyari, to create awareness among the students and parents and to share tips and techniques to score good marks in the forthcoming board examination, that is Term 2. So here with us we have two subject experts, Shrimati Geetha Naveen Bhat,
Namaskar,
and Shri Mackenroe sir from the Department of Education, Andaman and Nicobar Islands. We welcome you, madam and sir, to the studio today for the discussion. Without taking much time in the introductory part, I would directly come to the questions. Mackenroe sir, can you just give a brief on the syllabus and the pattern of questions that will be asked in the second term, class 10th board exam?
Sure. Hello viewers. As you know that in the first term, you had completely multiple choice of questions. In the term 2 is going to be subjective, right? So yes, there are syllabus that you have to go through and completely you have to prepare yourself for that. So let me just, read out the name of those lesson poems. There are two books, First Flight and The Footprints Without Feet. The lessons which are Glimpses of India, Madam Rides the Bus, The Sermon at Banaras, The Proposal, and from the poem section, Amanda, Animals, The Tale of Custard the Dragon, and from the second book, Footprints Without Feet, The Making of a Scientist, The Necklace, The Heck Driver, and Bholi.
So Mackenroe sir, you have told the students about the lessons which they are going to get in the Term 2 examination, the poems and the lessons from the supplementary text. So let me tell the students that they have three sections in the question paper. Section A is reading, section B is writing and grammar, and section C is literature. So section A, that is reading, this part carries 10 marks.
Yes.
And the second section, that is writing and grammar, it also carries 10 marks, but 5 marks for writing and 5 marks for grammar. And the third section, that is section C, is going to be the literature part. So they are going to get the questions from lessons that Mackenroe sir just mentioned.
Yes. Now the next question to Geetha ma'am. Geetha ma'am, can you just tell our students the general tips and techniques to be followed while writing and preparing for this Term 2 class 10 English paper?
Yes, sure, Suja ma'am. It's a very good question, since language is very important and it is a base for all the other subjects. Like if the students are good in English, then it will help them to write better in other subjects also, like science, mathematics and social science.
Yeah.
Because they need to understand the question. That is very important. So unless and until they develop their language skills, it is going to be difficult for them to understand. So they need to read a lot. Apart from their textbooks, they need to read novels, newspapers, journals, and also they should read their NCERT textbooks very well. It's very important, because children are reluctant to read the textbooks. They always wait for ready-made notes.
Yeah.
So they need to develop the habit of reading the NCERT textbooks also very thoroughly.
Reading as well as listening also.
Listening also,
Yeah.
they need to listen to English programs,
Yeah.
especially they can watch English news every day,
Yeah.
so which will improve their language command. And then they need to write and practice, that is very important. So children often don't write, they become overconfident and they don't write. So since they have to write answers instead of multiple choice questions this time, so it is important for them to write and practice. So this will help them a lot to attempt all the questions, especially the reading section also. They need to read with understanding, that is very important.
Yes.
And for attempting the questions related to English subject, they need to have a good vocabulary also.
Yeah.
So they need to refer to dictionary all the time, and they need to enrich their vocabulary so that when they write their answers, they use good vocabulary.
Okay. Yes, that's very good. I think that students will be benefited by this tip. Now, again, a question to Mackenroe sir. So, it's often seen that students get confused by seeing the question paper. There are 3 sections, A, B and C. So, students get confused that from which section should they start. What would you advise the students?
Well, it depends, I mean, it's again, like on the students, that how he is or she is comfortable with. But generally, if I have to give an advice that which section has to be go on first, then I should suggest that they should go for section A. That is actually reading section.
Yes.
Okay. Why? Because see, if you're going to do this at the end of all the sections that you are going to attempt that, actually you won't have ample time at the end.
Yes.
So in my opinion, it repeat. So in my opinion, it has to be, first they have to read the question before they are reading the passage.
Okay.
Why? Because they will have some ideas about the answer whenever they are reading the passage. And whenever they have that kind of knowledge before, after reading the questions, they will be able to, attempt those questions which are already there
Okay. Okay.
for the answer.
Yes.
Passage. Yes, that would be my suggestion.
Yes, I would like to add to what Mackenroe sir has said, because reading and the literature section, these 2 sections carry the maximum marks. Like I told, the reading section contains 10 marks and the literature part consists of the maximum marks, that is 20 marks.
Yes.
So they need to attend to the questions related to section A, that is reading, and section C, that is literature. Because if they read the textbook very carefully and they know the story and the characters, so it will be easy for them to answer and score more marks, because they have to restrict to the chapters and the stories. But as far as writing section and grammar is concerned, for the writing section, children take a lot of time thinking what to write. Sometimes they don't have any idea of what has been asked about the topic in the writing section. So they take a lot of time in the writing and grammar section. So whereas it contains only 10 marks, but they spend a lot of time. So if they begin with the reading and the literature part, that would be fine.
Now, this brings us to the next question. As you have rightly advised the students to attempt the questions in a sequential pattern, so now just brief the students how efficiently they could manage the time to complete the paper within the stipulated time.
Yeah, this is a very important question, as students need to learn more about time management. Often they come out of the examination hall complaining that they could not complete all the questions within the given time. Yeah. So they need to manage the time if they follow certain simple things. The students are given 15 minutes for reading. So if they use that 15 minutes properly, like if they within 15 minutes they can read the whole question paper once, and also they can go through the reading section again, because the paragraph in the reading section they have to read the paragraph and understand it properly. Okay, so if they read the passage again and they try to comprehend what the passage is about, and they kind of keep these ideas in their mind, it will help them to answer the questions related to the reading section well. So that is one thing that can do. And then also, while they are reading all the other questions very carefully, so they'll kind of form an idea in their mind, okay, what has been asked in the writing section, what is the topic. And let me tell you, in the writing section they have choice this time.
Yes.
So there are two questions. I told you only 5 marks are there for the writing section. So they'll get a letter and they'll get an analytical paragraph. So they can attempt any one question, they have the choice. So they have to, like maybe in the reading time only, they can decide which is the question in the writing section that they are going to attempt. So that they make up their mind and they start conceiving ideas as to what they are going to write. So that choice can be done during the reading time. And then once they start writing, then they need to decide which part they are going to do first.
Yes.
So, and in which part they are more confident, you know.
And Geetha ma'am, regarding this, I just want to give a suggestion that, as Mackenroe sir has said, that it is always advisable to read the questions first in the reading section. So when they get this 15 minutes time, the reading time, they could utilize this time to read the questions also of the unseen passage.
Yes.
So it will be easy for them when they get the time to start their writing.
Writing, yes.
Yeah.
And then what they can do is, like suppose sometimes what happens, the students get stuck with one question. Suppose in the reading section. So they got stuck with one particular question. So they waste a lot of time.
Yes.
So maybe they can leave 1 or 2 lines for that particular question and they can move on to the next questions. And they need to attempt those sections which they are more confident. Then maybe they can switch on to the literature part, and then they can solve all the questions, write down the answers to all the questions. Then they can come to the writing and grammar part. And after they finish, they always need to keep looking at their watch. So 10 minutes before, they have 2 hours time. So 10 minutes before they have to finish their writing. And that 10 minutes they have to utilize for revising. Just check whether they have attempted all the questions or not. And that time they can go back to the questions which they could not attempt in the beginning, and then they can, whatever comes to their mind in the last moment, they can write down in that question.
Yes.
And they must do a quick checkup and revision,
yes,
so that they ensure that they have attempted all the questions. And then maybe suppose they have left any questions, so those 10 minutes they can utilize to answer that question also. So this is how they need to manage their time, so that they are able to attempt all the questions at the given time.
Now, Mackenroe sir, to my opinion, I feel that the most important part is the reading section. As you have already mentioned, that reading section has 10 marks, so there is nothing to memorize. Students can go and they can just write. There's nothing to memorize. So this part is scoring also. So in regard this, what would you suggest the students? What would be the best way to do to get maximum marks in the reading section?
Yes, again I'm telling. Actually, I mean, the student actually, they just have that kind of thorough knowledge about what they're doing. More importantly, why the section has given as the name called reading, you know, because they need to read it properly, understand it, and when we are talking about time, that they have to save time and all that, they need to read the question first. Why? Because if they're going to read the passage and they're going to take that as a story, yes, you can call it a story reading, then they will eventually get the ideas, right?
Yes.
So in my opinion, again, don't miss anything. Whatever is given in the passage, the answer is already there. Okay, they don't have to write anything extra out of that context.
Yes.
They could always see the answer which is already given in the passage itself. So they don't have to bother about that one. And in that one, they can fetch good marks, in my
Yes.
opinion.
Yes.
Yes,
Now,
I would also like to add something to this. As far as language is concerned, we can say that this is an process, you can say. It's not that you just prepare before the examination, maybe 1 month before or 2 weeks before examination. So this preparation is right from the beginning of the year. Because I told you, language skills need to be developed if you have to answer your questions well. As far as reading is concerned, if they don't develop the habit of reading right from the beginning, so they will not be able to read, they will not be able to comprehend, they will not be able to read with understanding and answer the questions.
yes.
Because in the reading part, they get questions related to vocabulary also. And for that, they need to refer to dictionary all the time whenever they are reading the NCERT books or whenever they are reading the newspapers or storybooks, so that they know a lot of words. And also, as I told you, for reading it is also important for them to watch news and to listen to news, because the reading passages could be of topics related to current happenings.
Yes.
So they need to know what is happening around them, what are the current issues, what are the topics, what is the talk of the town, so what is going on. So they need to be aware of all these things in order to attempt the reading section well.
Okay, students, so do not leave section A, that is the reading section, because there is nothing to memorize. We just practice. You can master that reading skill in you. So do your best in the reading part. Now coming to section B, Geetha ma'am, as I have heard a lot from parents as well as from the students that they are totally confused and they are panicked with the grammar section. And section B comprises of 10 marks in which there is formal letter, analytical paragraph as well as grammar. So what would you suggest so that our students can do productively in this section B to score maximum marks?
Rightly said, Suja ma'am. Students and parents are also more worried about section B.
Yeah.
Like whenever parents talk to me, they just tell me, ma'am, we are worried about their grammar. My child's grammar is not good. Okay. And sometimes, or I would say rather most of the time, the students get confused with the writing and grammar part. They say grammar. When they say grammar, they talk of the writing section too. So they get confused between grammar and the writing section. In fact, these days, for the past many years, we have been teaching functional grammar in schools. In the syllabus, it is not the traditional grammar which we have learned during our school time. Okay, where we had to memorize the rules and So these days we have functional grammar, and that is they learn as they use them in sentences, in different types of exercises. That is why the pattern of question that they get in the grammar, that is they have to find error from the given sentences. Like they get a small paragraph of maybe 4 sentences, and from each sentences they have to find out the error.
Okay.
Again, for that they have grammar like that they have been learning right from their primary classes. Simple grammar, tense, okay, reported speech, or the verbs,
Determiners,
articles,
models.
determiners,
Yes.
models. All these they have been learning right from their primary classes. So they need not mug up the rules. As they read, grammar is there in every part, in the reading part, in the writing part, and also in the literature part. Everywhere they have grammar. Because if they are not aware of practicing grammar as they read, okay, while they are reading also, like, okay, what are the articles in this story? while they read stories in the literature part also. Like what are the prepositions? Okay, which speech has been used, whether the direct speech or the indirect speech.
Yes.
Okay, so they need to all the time link grammar to all the different parts of language learning.
Yes.
So they need not panic or worry about the grammar questions. As I told you, only 5 marks they have for the grammar question and 5 marks they have for the writing part. Again, this time they have choice. As far as writing part is concerned, again I'll stress on the point that they need to update themselves with what is happening around them.
The current issues.
The current issues.
So let me also add up something also
Yes,
regarding
sir.
the same thing actually, see now it's a peak time for you all that you have to prepare for the examination, but actually, since we are talking about grammar over here, so here spoken is also very important. And as ma'am has already told that that tourney has been started already when you were in the primary sections. Yes. And you must have started learning to speak in English and all that. So you have to make that as a habit. And gradually you will learn that what is grammar and how you have to frame sentences while talking, while writing and all. So it's again my suggestion, a positive suggestion that I would say that try to keep talking in English. Okay, make it simple, make it, so small. That the people around you could understand that what you're trying to convey. If you will have this as a habit, then definitely you don't have to bother about grammar.
Yes, sir, very, very true. And as far as their writing section is concerned, they need to be very careful about the format. They need to know the correct format for, suppose they have formal letters, so they need to know, they get confused with the format. As far as writing part is concerned, they have marks for the format, they have marks for, the body of the letter, the content. And their language accuracy. Okay, so for everything their marks have been allotted. So they have to be very careful about the format also, and everything they have to write on the left hand side, and they should not forget to write the date, the subject, and how do they begin the formal letters. They have inquiry letters and they have placing orders. So they need to be very careful how to begin these letters, what would be the subject. So they need to practice a lot. They need to write and practice. So that is how they would be able to score better in the writing and grammar part.
Yes. So this brings us to the last question. So I would request Mackenroe sir. So sir, can you just advise the students on how to prepare an attempt for section C, that is the literature portion?
Sure. Actually, here we are talking about literature right now, section C. Before we were talking about section A and B, reading and writing. These three are very much important, and out of these three sections, this one is also very, very important. Why? Because it has a maximum number of marks.
20 marks. Yes.
And again, NCERT and textbooks you have been provided at home and from the school also. You can, it's not again a kind of a major issues or something that you're going to do with this one. If you have gone through all the prose and poems and the rest, another book is there, right? Footprints Without Feet. Supplementary reader. If you're going to, see, again I'm telling that just don't hit your head over that. If you're stuck with something, you don't just pause yourself, because there'll be some choices also. I think there are going to be some choices, and suppose if you are good at that one, the question that you are comfortable with, attempt it. Okay. You don't have to wait for anything and all that. So this is how I think that will be again a fetching marks and all that, right?
As far as the literature part is concerned, so they need to read the textbook very carefully, and they need to make notes as they read. For example, in every chapter or the story, they need to write down the names of the main characters in their notebook, and they need to write down their qualities. Like for example, they are kind, they are maybe generous, or they are helpful, they are hopeful. What are the qualities they need to write down, so that the questions related to writing character sketch or pen portrait, so it will be easy for them, and also it will help them to understand the story better. So that is making notes while reading, making the points, jotting down the points is very important as they read. knowing the characters, knowing the story very well, and for which they need to read the lessons again and again. That is very important.
Okay. Yes, Geetha ma'am and Mackenroe sir, can you just, in few words, what is the message that you want to share with our students and parents? The students who are going to appear for class 10 term 2 board exam. What is the message that you wish to give to the students?
The first examination for class 10th is English. So they need not panic, they need not worry. You should be confident. Students and parents should also support the children, for their first exam. And as far as language learning is concerned, the children maybe have left it for the last moment.
Yes.
So the parents should be with them, encourage them to read the textbooks very carefully. At least these last few days, they need to listen to English news. They need to read 10 minutes at least newspapers, so that whatever they are doing last moment, it remains in their mind. And then be confident and don't panic. Read the question paper well, utilize the reading time well, and you will do well. All the best.
Yes, Mackenroe sir.
Yes, of course. I mean, see, I have got 3 methods for you all children. The 3 P's, they are very important. The first one is prepare, perform, and get past. So this is very simple, okay? Don't get yourself tensed up right now. You don't have to worry about anything. Don't get yourself tensed up. Even I would also advise the parents not to get themselves tensed up and all that, because it's not the end of the world or something like that. You know that your children are doing better, and definitely they are going to get passed with some with good marks.
To conclude, I would tell all the students, do not wait for the last moment. Start preparing from today itself at least. Remember all the points that our subject experts have mentioned. Do not panic, stay calm and cool. Stressing will do no good. Instead, it will create the situation much worse. Give your best. Do not worry about the rest. I thank our subject experts, Geetha ma'am and Mackenroe sir, for coming to the studio and sharing their valuable tips and techniques. I'm sure that our students are going to come out with flying colors in term 2 English. Thank you very much.